Good afternoon. How is everybody today? Anybody out there?
Hello.
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 Well,
Hi.
great. Hi. Thank you so much for joining. We will give it just one more minute in case we have some late folks that are going to be joining. Just one more minute. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks, everybody, for joining me this afternoon. It's Lonnie Ledbetter, and what we're going to be talking about today is the introduction of our new program, Lead You. And we are so excited about this program. You know, Campus Advantage has really been growing by leaps and bounds, and we've had opportunities for folks to, move to different properties and opportunities for folks to move to properties that we are building as well. And so since we're in such a growth state, we looked around and realized, if we're going to be continuing to grow and we're going to be continuing moving people around to different acquisitions and whatnot, it's really important that we have a bench. It's really important that we have a group of folks that are ready to step into the GM role at any given time. And, how do you do that? So we got together and we thought, the best way to create a bench is to do it very intentionally and do it very strategically. And, I don't know about you all, but when I was an assistant manager in AGM, I firmly believed that I was ready to be, and I was positive that I knew more than my GM. That I was way smarter than him. I just knew it. And I couldn't figure out what on earth he did all day because, as an AGM, you just have no idea. I was like, all he's done is he's in his office and he's on the computer all day. He's not really doing anything. Well, I had absolutely no idea the amount of work, that was involved. And so when I stepped in as the role, my first day, I was like, holy cow. And so I don't know if any of you experienced that, but, when you go and you get a chance, you get called up to the big leagues, you realize that, there's a lot we don't know and a lot that we're not prepared to see. So we thought, well, how do we create a bench with a group of people that are prepared to take on the role so that the learning curve is not as steep and that they're ready to jump in with both feet? So enter the program Lead You. Yay! I'll be my own cheerleading squad here. Yay, Lead You. So
Go Lonnie.
Thank you. So the program for Lead You stands for Leadership, Education, and Development. We're very intentional about what this program is going to be. So let me see if my screen here will advance. There we go. So what is it? The purpose of Lead You is to develop, equip, and train specifically chosen Campus Advantage team members with high potential in targeted student housing operation competencies. Upon completion of the program, the graduate will be prepared to become a general manager, creating financially successful communities that excel in providing rewarding living and learning experiences for the residents. Phew, that's a mouthful. So what does all that mean and how do we accomplish it? Well, first of all, the program. The program is is divided into two separate sections. The first section is going to be a 3-day conference that's going to be held in Austin. And it's going to be 3 days of very intense learning. And Then there'll be, we'll talk about that. And then there's a 6-month follow-up program where each month the individual will be given some assignments to reinforce what they learned when they were in Austin. So what we don't want to do is the kind of the show up, dump all the information, and then folks forget. So then hopefully after that 3-day conference and then that 6-month follow-up, we are looking at a general manager that is ready to hit the ground running. So let's take a look at some specifics about the program. So again, based on operations at the property. So when they come to Austin and they get this overview, they'll be looking at everything from analyzing financial statements to customer service, residence life, marketing and leasing. I mean, all the things that you need to know in order to run a successful property. These particular areas will be taught by experts in their field. So you're going to have the best folks talking about residence life that are in residence life. Folks talking about managing financials that have operated financially successful communities. Facilities management, all these are going to be taught by subject matter experts. Then each month as part of that follow-up, they are given an assignment that will be based on one of these competencies, but it will reflect a real-world scenario. So if, I could see maybe on the facility section, we might give them a working problem that has to do with one of the properties that experienced a flood, or a situation if we had to evacuate for a tornado, and have them work through these issues and then see what they would do as it happened in real life.
Hey, Lonnie, this is Carol. I have a question on that. Like, who's responsible? Like, who will be giving those monthly scenarios?
Well, do you mean who's going to, come up with the scenario, or who's going to send out the assignment?
Yeah, who's overseeing it? Is that the new trainer position?
Yes, ma'am.
That will make sure that these are being sent out to whoever it is on the program? Yep,
that sure is.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, we were going to say it's you, Carol.
Which I have no problem with that. I was just kind of wondering, just to make sure it falls through the cracks.
So then we have also when the delegates, that's what they'll be called once they get enrolled in the program, they will be exposed to other corporate departments. And so they're able to see that student housing is not just about, operating a property, being a regional, being a VP. There's lots more involved in the actual industry itself. So they'll get exposed to development, acquisitions, accounting, human resources, so to be able to see all the corporate departments and how, not only how it all works, but then how their work at the sites impact these other departments. And then, of course, mentors. So the delegates will be assigned a mentor, and each month, these as they're sent out the follow-up assignments, as they're completed, they'll get sent back into a mentor. The mentor will work with the delegate. They'll go through the assignment. They'll do question and answer, and also help career path with the delegate. So, who's the ideal candidate? What does it look like to be able to participate in this program? Well, first, of course, we want someone who's got commitment. Not only to the mission of Campus Advantage, but you've noticed that they're committed to your property. They're committed to their team members. They work hard. They've got a great attitude. They go over and above. And if you ask them to do 2 things, they do 4, because that's just the kind of commitment, that they've got. They don't complain when you ask them to go flyer on property or go flyer out on campus when it's 100 degrees. You want the good, positive attitude. Super hard worker. You want someone with ability. So, you want someone who has shown good problem-solving skills, someone who has demonstrated that they have good intuition, have good instincts, have a lot of good common sense, and someone who, once they're given the proper training, would be able to step into the role as a GM within 6 months. This is important because you might have someone on your staff who is a full-time student, and they are just in their second year. But let's say they're a non-traditional student, so they're a little bit older, maybe they have some real-world experience, but they are going to be a full-time student for the next 3 years. This is not the program for them, because they would be given this very intense training and then would not be able to step into the role for 2 more years. So then they lose that knowledge if they're not using it, if it's not focused on. So you really want to be looking at folks who, with proper training, could feasibly step into the role within the next 6 months. Being willing to relocate. This is extremely important because in most of our markets, or in a lot of our markets, we might be the only property. We might be managing only one in the area. And so in order to create a good bench, we have to have folks who are mobile, who are willing to relocate. In some cases, you might be one of several properties in an area, which helps, but really we want folks who will be willing to move. Because, again, if it's the only property in the state, we've got GMs that have been in that position for a long time. We would invest all of this, and then we might not be able to promote them if they're not willing to move. Then, of course, again, I spoke to the 6 months or to the student issue. So if you've got a student, we really would like for them to be within 6 months of graduation, again, so that they can make the full-time commitment to the position. Any questions here?
No.
All right. So the selection process. You all have received the email that has the nomination form in it. So nominees can come from general managers or regional managers. I've received a couple of nominations from other department heads, which has been great. So please, as we're going through and you're thinking about your staff, please go ahead and fill out that form. If you need it again, just email me. I can resend it to you. Once we receive all of the nominations, the list will be submitted to the VPs and the other operations department for feedback. Then the nominees that will be selected to advance in the process, they will be invited to submit an application essay. And it's nothing real cumbersome, but we do want to get a sense in their words why they want to be a part of the program. We want to get a sense in their words, their commitment to Campus Advantage. And then, of course, it helps us also get kind of a yardstick on their writing skills as well as while we're at it. So it won't take them 3 days to write. This isn't like a college examination, but we do want to hear in their words why they want to be a part of the program. Because what we haven't discussed yet, but I will mention here, is that being accepted in the program and completing the program does not guarantee you a promotion. It is a designation. It is a additional training, a certificate that you will earn, but it does not guarantee a promotion. And it's a lot of work. Not only do you have to come to Austin, and it's 3 intense days, so you're away from your family when you're doing that, but the monthly activities are going to require time. I mean, for this to work and for folks to be prepared to be GMs, they got to put the time and the commitment in. And so we want to hear in their words that they're willing to do that. And at the end of the day, it does not guarantee a promotion. But it's a designation. It is something that will set them apart. When a position comes up, their name will go to the top of the list. But again, we don't want people just assuming that, I'll do this and I'm the next GM. So there's some steps in between. So once we receive the application essay, they will get reviewed, and then the delegates will be chosen, and then the nominees will be notified of their selection status, whether they were able to, they were selected for the program or not. So you see here we've got a schedule of events. So, of course, we know the nominations are due tomorrow. Given us some time here to go through, and we'll look through the nominations, get them by the selection folks. Then by the 5th, they'll be notified if they're going to be able to move through the process. Applications are due on the 12th. The 20th, they'll be notified. The 16th, the conference starts. The first follow-up assignment is July, so that's something to take into consideration that, during turn, well, at least getting ready for turn, there will be an assignment. Now, we are not heartless folks. We do know that some of you may be a little bit busy in August, so there will not be a follow-up in August, but there will be a follow-up assignment that will resume starting in September. And then there'll be once a month thereafter. So, some more general info about the program. Again, the participation is voluntary. It takes dedication. It takes commitment. Class size is going to be very small. So we're anticipating that competition to be included is going to be pretty tough. We're looking at this first class to be about 10. And so we really want 10 of our best and brightest to be a part of this program. So, take a look at your folks and really send in. You may find that you've got more than one person who fits the criteria and you're comfortable with it, so nominate those folks. But also, don't panic if you don't have anybody who doesn't fit that criteria right now. But please still let me know. Shoot me an email that says I don't have anyone at this time that fits the criteria. But we're hoping that we're able to pick 10 of the best because we've gotten so many nominations versus, crossing our fingers and hope we get 10. I know we've got some really great folks out there, so please, this is your opportunity to brag on your team members. The follow-up program, you have to complete all stages of the follow-up program to be considered a graduate of the program. And then, of course, enrollment, participation, and completion doesn't guarantee a promotion. But it does, like I said, put your name at the top of the list. It shows real commitment that, the person has put in the time and the energy to do this, that, that they've worked hard, because it's not a walk in the park. This is going to be something that is going to be, that's very, very difficult. So we want to, be sure that they're really participating and really giving it their all. So any questions about anything?
Hey, Lonnie, this is Carol again. So on this, will it say anything about how they need to be compliant, like caught up in all their, training factor and portal and all that stuff courses?
I'm sorry, ask the question again.
If for them to qualify, is one of the qualifications that they are 100% compliant, like with all their current training courses? Basically, are they caught up on everything?
That was not a consideration, but we can before they're able to come to Austin or before they're able to be selected.
Well, it's just a thought, because, just to make sure they're up to speed and caught up on it, that they know all the policies and procedures and they've gone through all their training factor courses.
Sure.
Doesn't have to be the thought.
Yep. That's great. Anybody else?
So Carol.
Yes?
Yeah, is that a hint to all the GMs that are on the call today and all the regionals, VPs or whatever to go back?
No, not at all, but I was just thinking that if you're an AGM and GM, whatever, whoever goes in this fast track, that one of the things I would think we want to make sure that they've read all the P&P and done all the applicable training for themselves.
No, I think that's a good suggestion. I think that's, just because somebody nominates somebody doesn't mean we'll select them. And I think, like Lonnie said, that's something we can use as criteria to say they're very, very interested in Campus Advantage, their job where they are, and a future job, or whether they're just getting by.
Yeah. And I think it would benefit them if they just made sure, so, because if they're going to get these monthly things, they'll need to know all that anyway.
Absolutely. Also, if you have someone on staff that may not hit one of these criteria for a certain reason, maybe if it's the relocation thing, or maybe it's a graduation thing, or maybe they're a student, so by definition they wouldn't be graduating in 6 months, but they're doing all their coursework online. If you've got a situation like that, reach out to me. Still fill out that nomination form or shoot me an email and let me know what's going on, and I can present that to everyone, because again, we want to, if there's a special circumstance that we need to take into consideration, by all means we will. Any other questions?
Well, this is Todd. Something I'd like to say too is, if you have, as a GM or regional or whatever, if you have any thoughts to things that we need to go over while these people were in Austin, and something maybe you felt like you were lacking on with your training, please touch base with me or Lonnie, and that's always good feedback for us to use. And even though we have a criteria right now, or we have an agenda of what we're going to be teaching, I think your all's input is a lot more valuable than us sitting around a table.
Awesome. Thanks,
That's all
Todd.
I have to say.
Well, if there's no other questions now, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I know that you all are going 90-0 and had a lot of calls, so thank you so much for joining the call today. Please reach out if you have any questions. My email is there, and then, of course, you can respond to other emails that you've received. So don't be shy. Reach out and let me know, and I cannot wait to read all of your nominations. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Thank you.